Hello, everyone. I'm Wayne Tunks. I'm the writer, director, and producer of After Nightfall. And, well, people have been enjoying the series, so I thought that we would check in on a few of the cast while we're all in lockdown and just say hello to them and see how they're doing. And we had to start with the one, the only Mr. Troy McClevey. So, Nick Sinclair, hello, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good. You're normally in Sydney, but you're in South Australia at the moment.
Yeah. So we came down here at the start of the lockdown, I guess.
Yeah.
We had a house down here, so we can always come down here and look after ourselves and kind of be away from the madness of the city. So that's what we've been doing for the last 2 months.
Sounds
Woo!
good. All right, well, let's get back into the world of After Nightfall, which you had such a big part of, because the whole mystery was who killed Troy McClevey, and you were Troy McClevey. So, how did it feel playing that role?
Um, I loved it. I loved it for lots of reasons, but I think my favorite part of being a part of the series and playing that character was getting to interact, or at least have the character interact with other people and just watch how that single event just rippled and affected everybody else, and just kind of being the catalyst of the story. I thought that was really exciting, and being able to kind of be there but not also be there at the same time.
Yeah. So, how did you get involved in the series?
I got involved with the series by working with you, Wayne, on your last show, Bitch, and that had just finished. And a couple of weeks later, I got an email from you saying that you were coming up with some ideas for a web series. And you were very kind enough to offer me a spot, and I'm really appreciative of it.
I know, I think at first you were a little like, you want me to play the guy that dies in the first episode? What?
I was a little bit like that. I think that's probably my ego talking. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what do you mean? But it turned out to be the best part, and I loved it.
Yeah, and fast forward to season 2, and you get a whole episode where you were in every single scene.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
That was an exciting day. That was an exciting day to film. I love that.
So, yeah, let's talk about filming. What's some of your great memories from filming?
I think probably the most memorable one was the very first day, because the first scene that we shot was me being discovered outside in the bush. So we'd driven out to the bush, and on my way out to the bush, my car broke down in the middle of the freeway at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So that was pretty memorable, for having to kind of tow my car off to the side, go do a whole night of shooting, and then I had to leave my car out in the middle of nowhere. So that was pretty fun. Like, that was a memorable day. But I also really loved filming, just because a lot of my scenes were either being there but not actually cut together in the same scene. It was really nice to just be in scenes with other people and be able to interact. So a lot of the flashback episode I really enjoyed, because I got to properly interact with lots of different characters, which was really exciting.
Yeah, and it was really interesting that day, I think, when your car broke down, because you weren't talking to people. You had to go lay in a ditch and think the whole time, what's going to happen
Oh
with
my
the car?
God, my car. Yeah.
It was quite cruel of us, but you did such a great job, which is good. But how was it acting at your own funeral?
That was pretty spooky. I think a lot of people I think everyone at least once in their life, like either as a game or trying to trick someone, has pretended to play dead. But when you are actually doing it and you have to stay dead and everyone's there mourning you, it's quite confronting. And just like lying in an actual coffin and just lying there still was quite spooky after a while. I can't complain too much though, because I didn't have to say anything. So people had to remember lines. I just had to lie there. So
Yeah, you just had to look scary a lot of the times when you were a ghost.
yeah.
Excellent. So what did you think about the killer? So, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen, fast forward this part. So, what did you think? Because you found out at the beginning of season 2, yeah?
I think so. I think I found out just as the script came out for season 2.
Yeah, and you were one of the first people to know.
Yeah. So I was shocked, because it wasn't at all who I thought it was going to be. Which I think is the best kind of surprise. But as I found out who it was, then it all started making sense, and you could see different parts that had been especially from season 1, that had been intentionally shot and done a certain way to kind of throw us all off. So I loved it, and then going up and seeing that actor and being like, you, because obviously they knew the whole time. So,
and she was so good at hiding it.
she was. I would have blabbed. If it was me, I would have talked. I couldn't have held it in. I would have said something to somebody.
Yeah, and I think that great thing that she knew before she'd even shot a single scene, it was only her and I who knew that she was the killer.
Mm.
So it was a well-kept secret. So good on to that killer.
Yeah. I'm glad it wasn't me, because I would have blabbed.
So who did you think did it?
Sorry?
Who did you think did it?
Who did I think did it? I thought it was, oh my gosh, Renee?
Okay. Yeah.
No, that's not who I'm thinking about at all.
Leanne. You're thinking of Leanne.
Leanne.
Yeah, she did so that actress Chantel did a play of mine, and she could play a character called Renee. So yeah.
Nice. Well, I thought it was Leanne because of that moment in the second episode where Dave gets off the phone and they're like, "Oh, my nephew's dead," and she jumps straight in and says, "Troy." And I was like, "Well, you've got 2 nephews, so why are you jumping to conclusions?"
Yeah, see, it's interesting because for me, as the writer of that scene, in my mind, she was talking to her oven, she was talking to Quinton. So, so that's why she knew it was Troy. But, I was really happy that so many people watched that one scene and went, she's the killer, and then made the story around it, which as a writer kind of, is an enjoyable thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you spent many times watching people get it wrong, which is great.
Yeah, I know. That kind of power is quite nice and intoxicating, I've got to tell you. So, why do you think, if somebody hasn't watched the series yet, we haven't spoiled too much for them, why should they watch After Nightfall?
I think because you're gonna find something you like in it. There's just so many different. I think also it's got so many important things that need to be on film a lot more. Regional work, Australian work. It's about LGBT queer people. It's about family breakdown and struggle, the school relationships, and also just dealing with something as crazy as murder, and also being someone at school and trying to process that and get over that and continue to live after that. I think it's got a good message for everybody, but it also has that excitement and that drama if you're just looking for something good and different and interesting to watch. So I think it holds something for everybody. But most importantly, I think it's new Australian work, and that's something that Australia is lacking of at the best of time, but especially now during COVID. I think now is a time for Australians to just start producing the hell out of new Australian work and bringing the theatre industry back.
Definitely. Now, last question: what have you been working on? I know we've put a big pause on everything that we're doing, but what have you been working on, or what were you working
on? Acting wise, or do you mean just like I've been working?
Whatever you want to tell people.
I've been working on my one-man show that I did last year for the Fringe, and so I've been working on extending that recently, and so I'm trying to flesh that out and start pitching it to different people. I'm doing that. I've been baking. I've been doing a lot of baking, as I'm sure you have. I've been doing some baking, a lot of cooking, and some pottery. I started doing pottery last week. But in terms of work, yeah, I'm working on my one-man show. I'm also doing some stuff with the educational program and writing some work for them as well. But trying to keep busy, yeah.
Perfect. Well, Nick, thank you for joining us and for being the first in our little interview series.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you for letting me be part of your series. It's been an adventure.
Well, I just have to say, you did such an amazing job, and you had one of the trickiest roles because you had to act so often without ever saying a word, and that's so hard. And I just was constantly impressed by the work that you did.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and we'll catch you next time for our next interview. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks. See you later.